Welcome everyone to the first episode of Lead Yourself First, the podcast. It's a very first episode, and this podcast is dedicated to modern leadership, mindset, as well as mental well-being. And for my very first episode, I invited someone I'm very grateful to know her, to learn from her, because this woman is really a powerhouse. She has taught me everything I know about sales, the foundations of LinkedIn, how to position yourself. And yeah, she gave me just the fundamentals, which I needed to build a business with LinkedIn, on LinkedIn, and everything around. So in this podcast, I would like to combine these three pillars: modern leadership, mindset, as well as mental well-being, with first-hand experience from the business side. And therefore, welcome, Charlotte Lloyd. I'm very thankful for having you. And yeah, please introduce yourself.
Oh, thank you for those kind words. Really means a lot to hear it. So thank you. And you've been great, Chris. I am Charlotte Lloyd. I founded Charlotte Lloyd Consulting. So this is my actual business that I built off LinkedIn. Within the Charlotte Lloyd Consulting, I am the owner of the Client Acquisition Club, soon to be the AI Client Acquisition Club. And I basically I'm an entrepreneur, let's say solopreneur now, entrepreneur, because I've hired some people. And I built my business on LinkedIn when I was in corporate. So I was in corporate B2B sales for 23 years, built the business on LinkedIn by sharing content, had no intention of it to become a business. It just became a business. And the way that sort of I grew the business was obviously learning using the sales strategies that I'd used in B2B and also transferring those over to LinkedIn. So I'll stop there. um, I've basically been an entrepreneur now for coming up to 5 years, because the side hustle started before I turned it into a main business. And it's we're going to have a really interesting conversation today about what drives it, mindset. I really love the title Lead Yourself that you've given to the podcast, because when I think about that, it applies to everything. If you run a business, you have to lead yourself first. If you can't lead yourself first, you can't lead other people. So that's another thing. And again, when you think about the workplace, people who are employed, they also have to lead themselves if they want to potentially become a leader. But even if they don't, if they want to do well at work, it's like everything starts from you. And yeah, we're going to have an interesting conversation today. So I'll stop there.
No, thank you very much, Charlotte. No, this honestly, you have broken it down amazingly what it is all about. So I mean, and for me, it does not only apply to our work in corporate or being an entrepreneur, also in private life, right? So lead yourself
Yes.
first. It it comes back to every single thing we are doing, actually. And this is
Yeah.
something where we really should start when we would like to become the best version of ourselves. So, and therefore, Charlotte, I have actually had a list of, I don't know, at least 20 questions to you, but yeah, we are time limited. So I have broken it down to three. And the three most important questions I had in mind when I knew, okay, we will have a podcast, they were quite, yeah, let's say they're actually the biggest one when it comes to covering these three pillars, which I have in mind.
Yes.
And my very first one would be really, when it comes to success or your success in general, what would you say is more important, your mindset or the techniques you are using? Or are
Yeah, it's a
do
great question.
they need to be balanced? What would you say?
This is a great question. And a lot of people think that it's the technique that matters the most. The thing is that people listening to this have probably seen this before. It's 80% mindset and 20% skills and techniques. Because if you do not have the right mindset, you are not going to succeed. You are not going to be able to do some of the hard things that being an entrepreneur, a business owner requires you to do. If you're self-employed, whatever you want to call it, you're not going to be able to get through it without your mindset being 100% wired to, hey, I am really successful already. So one of the things I like to do is trick my brain into it's actually happened before it's happened, because then you're going to make it happen. And the brain can't tell the difference between what's real and what's not. So I'm a big believer in putting together your vision board, writing out your goals yearly and then quarterly and breaking them up, make them achievable, make them measurable. But really, as from being 23 years in sales, I started back in 2001, and we were just having the World Trade Center, sorry, not the financial, sold through the financial crisis. That was 2008, 2009. And the World Trade Center, the 9/11 attacks. And it's a long time ago that I started selling. And we didn't really talk about anything like mindset. It was always techniques. You've got to learn the techniques. You've got to learn the techniques. But really, it's like, if you can learn so many different techniques, but if you're not feeling it, if you're not bringing that energy that you are the best at what you do, even if you're not quite there yet, how you talk to yourself determines how well you will do, like, each day, right? So even if you have a really hard day, because there's hard days when you run a business, it's not easy when you get rejections, your attitude towards that is so important. And it will come and bite you at different stages in the journey of the entrepreneurial journey, right? So I'm talking to people that run the business, but also people who are still in corporate. When you're in corporate, you evolve. You need to evolve, and you need to be able to really handle rejection. So one of the things that I say to people, if they are really, and I tend to work with people who are further in the business, but still they need to overcome the hurdle of, hey, I need to perfect my sales to attract the right buyers. And a lot of people have issues with sales because of rejection, right? The most important thing as a business owner, if you're self-employed, if you're an entrepreneur, or even if you are wanting to climb the career ladder in corporate, you must be able to take rejection. So one of the things that I like to recommend if people are new to this is ask yourself, sort of every day, I'm going to ask for something and I'm going to expect a no. So it might be in Starbucks, hey, can you give me not some free coffee? You could always ask for free coffee, but you could say, I want a cappuccino, but can you give me some free flavorings on the side for free, right? You've got to ask for things for free. You've got to expect the no. Why? Because the more that we hear the no and we become kind of used to it, we are going to get yeses. Like, what? And I always say, like, what's the worst thing can happen when you ask for something? You're going to be told no or yes. But expect the no, expect the rejection, because that basically, how you do anything is how you do everything. Famous quote there. You've got to really sit comfortably with rejection and say, hey, if the business doesn't come my way, if this person or this business says no to me, then that's totally fine, because there's more of the right people that are coming, and I need to make that happen. So for example, somebody cancelled a call on me the other week. They just literally, I got like a declined, and they didn't reschedule, and they didn't say anything to me. So later that day, I sent them a DM and said, hey, I see that you have cancelled our call today. You didn't reschedule, so I'm assuming that something came up. Either way, you can let me know. And this person came back and said, actually, I'm in an offsite. I can't meet you, but I do want to meet you. Can we arrange another time? So some people might look at that and say, well, this person's cancelled the call, so I'm not going to bother following up, because if they were really meant to speak with me, they would reschedule. They would ask me to reschedule if they couldn't work it out from the calendar invite. And I say that kind of philosophy is what is going to keep you stuck. So we've got to reach out, and probably I was expecting the guy to say, actually, Charlotte, I don't want to meet with you anymore. right? I've changed my mind. That's what I was expecting. But I thought, well, let's give this a try because we never know. People are busy, especially now at this time of year. They probably forget to reschedule, or it's just not on their radar. So this is, this is what separates the winners from the losers is, are you prepared to make that extra effort? Are you prepared to hear the no, right? I love no. I've had so many no's. People as well only see the success and think, well, that's easy. She's made it easy. But yeah, so how you do anything is how you do everything. If you can't master your mind is so powerful. How you speak to yourself. So I read, every morning I'm planning the day. There's two questions that I sort of ask myself when I meditate, and then I read my daily affirmations. And these are things that I've written down, which I know I'm really good at, but I have to keep reminding myself to do it. And there might be people that laugh at this. I used to think this was kind of weird and a bit woo-woo, but it isn't. It really, really isn't. And if you think about it, we want to attract the right people with the right energy. When you're doubtful, when your mindset is really not there, when it's in the lack, when you think you're not good at everything, I'm going to get loads of no's, oh, I'm not going to do this because it just it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So you're telling yourself, well, this isn't going to work, and you start to attract those kind of people who drain the energy vampires, who really are similar, and they're not going to, that things are not going to move. So it really, when you show up and you're like, hey, you're confident, you're energetic, right? This is the thing, confidence and energy sells. I'm not saying you have to be super excited, and like, not everybody is like that. Some people are quiet, they're measured, they're introverted. That's completely fine. I'm a bit of an ambivert, so I'm a bit of both. But it's about having that very much, this is what I do, this is who I am. You can take it or leave it. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's a long answer to the question.
Oh, that's a beautiful answer to the question. You have said so many valuable things, honestly, because when it comes to the mindset, for example, in corporate, right? We are always saying in coaching, or also talent acquisition people, they scream it from the roofs at the moment. So attitude matters more than skills, because everything, I mean, skills can be learned, right? So
Yeah,
this is very
exactly.
important. And when you talked about this story with your prospect you were who canceled, I had a similar thing going on within the last 2 weeks. So now today, this prospect is a paying client. I mean, this is just, you never know in which situation the people are at the very moment. You actually have
Joe.
this meeting, and something always can happen. So this is like, you cannot plan everything exact to work out the way you might expect it. So, but anyway, this is totally a mindset. And what stood out here as well was really this morning routines and habits you have built over your lifetime, which support your mindset within your business, which is very, very important also for me. So yeah, I think everyone who tuned in today should think about if it might be worth to, let's say, not become spiritual, but I mean to, to think about if there are frameworks, tools, methods out there which could support their business and or their projects, whatever they have going on. And I think that's always worth it, that that definitely your mindset is more important than your tactics or your skills,
Yeah, because
actually.
without the mindset and the skill set, so having the skill set without the mindset will make you upset or cause you regret. Having the skill set and not the mindset will make you upset, cause you regret. Think of it like that. So you must 100% be wired into, I'm gonna make this happen. This is gonna work. I'm confident that it will work. If I need to seek help, I will. If I get told no, then it's not a setback, it's feedback. It's
Yeah,
actual feedback. So
true.
it could be that I maybe I was speaking to the wrong person, especially when you're starting out in a business, but you only get better by keep doing the things, right? So focusing
True.
on the right things, taking action on the right things, and knowing that, you have no competition. You are the best at what you do. Whatever somebody else might have might be different, but you are you. And it's your energy and the feeling that you give people ultimately that will make them want to buy whatever that feeling is, right? If you're kind of more analytical, or you're kind of more energetic, confident. But businesses don't buy the ins and outs of your service. They're really buying you, and where you're taking them on that journey. And that's, I feel that, especially in B2C selling, when it's coaches selling to coaches, or there's one decision maker, it is very, very nuanced. And in anything, even in B2B, you've got to have the right energy. You must have the right energy. You showing up, because the other person will feel it within the first kind of few minutes. If they feel that you don't believe in yourself and your service, then you're not going to sell anything, right?
And
You could even not be fully there with your technique, let's say your sales technique, but if you have the right confidence and the right energy, you're unstoppable. That's it. You can have an amazing technique, an
yeah,
amazing, questioning technique, and you're good on the calls and stuff. But if you don't believe and are super confident that you can help this person and give them the transformation that they need, you are not going to sell anything,
yeah.
right?
This is
You really
something.
are.
This is something I have learned from you as well. Because in sales, yeah, like you said, it's everything that counts actually. The people are buying you and the transformation you might bring them. So
Yeah.
therefore, I come directly to my second question, because you have mentioned it now various times. So when it comes, because we are talking about energy, so when it comes to energy, how do you prepare for your sales calls, for example? Or, I mean, you're also doing speaking gigs and workshops and stuff like that. So when it comes to that, how do you prepare your energy and or your mental state before getting into that?
Yeah, very good question. So part of the morning routine is visualizing and manifesting. Again, not something that I ever used to do, but really kind of, you meditate for whatever it is, 10 to 20 minutes. You're really seeing what you're doing, the calls that you're on. You're going through that. You're feeling confident. You're feeling energetic. You're saying the right things. You're actually visualizing yourself doing it really well. Because again, the brain doesn't know what's real and what's not. So you're tricking yourself into saying, right, I've done it. Every time I do this, it's it's like 99% fail safe, right? It works. It really works, but you've got to believe it. So start of the day, your meditation, your visualization is important. One of the things that I like to do, I'm leaning a lot more into as well, is scheduling my sales calls, let's say, on the same days. So Wednesday or Monday might be client delivery. I would only be doing sales calls, let's say Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday, for example, giving an example, because then you're not context switching. And this is quite hard for people, especially with ADHD, which I think we all, no insult to people who have ADHD, because I know from having clients that have it, but there'll be all moments when we feel like we have and we're focusing on too many things. And I really feel that if you can do your three whatever calls, four calls, you don't need to have many in a day, but if you're speaking to the right kind of person or business, then you shouldn't need to have a lot anyway per week. But if, let's say, you do three on a Tuesday, three on a Thursday, and maybe one on a Friday, okay, that's seven calls. You are focused on that, right? So you're not having to do, for example, oh, I do a sales call at 10 in the morning, and then at 12 o'clock, I'll do a client delivery. So be ruthless about setting that boundary. What do I want to do when? What am I not going to do? Like, I'm not going to do sales calls on a Monday. Okay, but don't box yourself into that. I would say do whatever works for you, but really kind of setting that context switching is important. And it's something that I notice running a business is obviously managing your energy. Your energy is your mindset, is the most important thing. So what times of the day do I feel most energetic? If it's the morning, do your calls in the morning. Then in the afternoon, you can do some of the other things that need doing in the business. But really, and I obviously work globally, so I have like calls in the afternoon. Sometimes I'll have calls in the morning, but I'm scheduling them on specific days, right? So I know, okay, this week I'm doing my US Canadian calls on Tuesday afternoon, Thursday afternoon, and that's it. So, and it's their morning time. So that's another really kind of underrated trick to manage your energy, because when you're showing up on calls, Zoom is quite intense. It's not like meeting people in person where it's more relaxed, right? Zoom calls, a lot of people don't like them. They call them coffee chats. And I always say, one of my mentors always says, coffee is for closers, it's not for chats. So make
Yeah,
sure that
good point.
yeah, I think people say this because they're a bit scared of like, and I think of the sales call as the onboarding call. Really, that's what it is. It's not a sales call. The terminology around sales call scares a lot of people as well. So in B2B, we call it discovery because we're not going to sell a B2B deal usually on the first call, and like if it's under 10K maybe, but usually 9 times out of 10 you're going on to another call. So it's discovery. But in the coaching world and the B2C world, if that person is the decision maker and they're going to pay you the money on the call or maybe after, we don't need to default to another call. So see that call as more like the onboarding call rather than the sales call. And then you relax. So
All
there's
right.
a lot of people that hate selling. And the thing is, we need to get how you manage your nervous system is absolutely everything when you run a business. I
Absolutely.
can't stress this enough. I've run on fumes. I got sick in the summer, and then it really tested me. It tested me for burnout too. And another thing is the mindset of where do I want to take the business in terms of am I growing it to a certain number? Who do I need people to help me? I actually need to, everyone's saying AI will do everything. AI will do a lot, but Daniel Priestley even says in his latest book, Lifestyle Business, the most successful businesses, and he's a successful entrepreneur, he's been doing it for a very long time, are ones with 4 to 12 employees, right? So if you're building a
Yeah.
lifestyle business, you're going to need to have people do things to manage your energy, because if you're the face of the brand, which you are, Chris, for what you do, I am for what I do,
Yeah.
yeah, if you're going to have like 5, 10K, 15K, 20K months, you can do that by yourself. But once you go beyond that, it gets very hard to sustain that without a proper team in place. So you have to say every single day, I have to be the best that I can be, right? I'm the athlete of the business, especially because you're selling, right? So my skill is sales. There's other people who I know whose skills are marketing, so they focus more on marketing and less on the sales part. But still, especially in years 1 to 5, I think, and again, it depends on the kind of business that you're building here. The first 2 years, you're going to need to show up and be on the calls because they're buying you, right? Once you get to a certain level and you're in the millions, yeah, you've obviously got people doing your calls, or certainly you need to show up on one of the calls, the first call, and if there's another call to close, then somebody else could do that. But yeah, I want to say to people that think about the kind of business that you're building. Do you always want to be a one-person business? That's totally fine. You might not want to go beyond 20K months or 10K months. And we're talking about this. It's like, what do you want to earn? What are the actions that will get me the results that I want? And we need to talk about money in a way, because so many people think, oh, money's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. The
Oh,
more
I
we,
had this thinking as well, huh? So for a very,
yeah,
very long time, I have to say. And
me too.
my coach helped me, the last one I had, to come over that. I have to be honest. It was a very, very, it was a challenge for me. Let's keep it like
Yeah, I
this.
feel that especially in Europe, we're a little bit more, Americans are a lot more entrepreneurial because they moved, they emigrated to the US, they had to build businesses, and their attitude to money is slightly different. But I'm not saying, oh, you got to make 100K and be like, I'm very anti-bro tactics. But if you are not wired to see money as a good thing, money is energy. When you
Yeah,
are showing up each month and you're already on 5K a month and 10K and you've got recurring revenue, you feel so different to when you're on zero. When you're on
absolutely.
zero, you've got that, you've got to be careful, because if you show desperation and neediness, and this is all wired to your mind, if you're showing up on those calls and doing that, then that's really, that's going to show, and you're not going to close. And then
You
what's
get
going to
what you
happen?
attract.
Another cycle, a vicious cycle that you can't get out of. I need money. I'm not making any money. And you've
Yeah,
really got to see the money in abundance.
yeah,
Like the abundance mindset is so important. And there's moments where it will challenge you and you'll feel crap and you'll
yeah,
think, why am I doing this again? You'll think this is a lot of work and it's hard, and there's it's not easy building a business. Let's be real about this. It's kind of glamorized a bit on LinkedIn, and it's
true.
never as easy as it looks when you read the posts. Okay. So that's what I'm going to
Yeah,
say. I'm not saying this to make people think, oh, it's dead easy. It requires commitment. And when you're in corporate now and building your business, Chris, I started out the same way. I really like that way of doing things because
yeah,
it gives you're already getting a paycheck. So yeah, you've got a role to and a job to do, but it just gives you a little bit more peace of mind as you start to grow your business and get clients. So there's a bit less pressure.
absolutely,
But for
absolutely.
people listening, I want to say that see pressure as a privilege, because there's so many people that won't do this, and there's so many people that shouldn't, perhaps they're not the right person to have a business. There are people like that. My husband is one. He doesn't want to, he could open a business on cybersecurity and completely, on LinkedIn, do that in Spain because there's not many people that do it, but he doesn't want to do it. So we're all different. What are the limits? Like,
Yeah,
I feel though there's so many people have so many business ideas within them. I had people around this weekend and we're all sat at the table. I didn't say anything, but I thought, oh, this person could launch something in pharmaceuticals. This person could do this because they're talking about a topic. But are they the right person to do it? It's like you've got to be really, really determined uh and just go for it. And the thing is, there's never a right time to leave corporate.
no,
I landed a
absolutely.
B2B deal, which helped me escape corporate, right? So that was one thing. But I was kind of, I had a mentor at the time that said to me, just rip the band-aid off. Like,
Yeah,
don't just go, out
yeah.
you go. Because,
Take the leap.
and I'm very much my whole ethos and belief is, I haven't come from generational wealth. And when I moved from the UK to Spain 15 years ago, I came commission only. So I worked for
Mm,
Financial Times, but my then boss said, look, we don't have an office there. You're going to have to work for commission only. You're going to have to be self-employed. So I was like, great, okay, I'll do it. Um, and I did it. And I worked for some other businesses as well, like generating leads, for example. So I would, if I didn't make any money, if I didn't sell, I wasn't going to be able to invoice at the end of the month, which
yeah,
meant I wouldn't be able to pay for my apartment back then. I wouldn't be able to save towards my house. I wouldn't be able to, and, I was doing this from 2011
mhm,
to when I was working from home when nobody was because there was no
yeah.
office, just took the laptop, up until 2020.
Okay.
2020, I went back into corporate, which was kind of good because my previous work that I was doing was relying a lot on travel. So I went
Yeah,
back into corporate for 3 years, and then that allowed me to build the side hustle, which is now my own business. So all these kind of things happen for a reason, I'm convinced. But if I
yes,
hadn't been commission only, I would always see that helped me realize that actually, if I'm not booking any meetings, in next week, the week after, I'm not going to close any deals.
yeah.
That's it.
No,
Like literally
they
that
stacked up.
simple.
They
Yeah.
stacked up, huh?
We're not talking about LinkedIn or content or anything like
Yeah,
that. But if I am not having enough conversations, which will lead to meetings, I am not going to be able to make any money.
yeah,
So it's very hard sometimes for people to realize that. And part of the thing about being a really successful entrepreneur is really knowing that sales is the fastest way to grow your business,
yeah,
right? Marketing is great, but marketing is also very psychological. It changes. So what
yeah.
worked in your newsletter last week ain't going to work next week. You're
True.
having to do, and a lot of people love that. And I love marketing as well. I think it's fantastic. It's kind of like a science, but it's like, oh, I'll try this, and I'll try that. But what always works is speaking to businesses, speaking to people,
Yeah.
because people buy people.
This is something I have learned this year as well. And honestly, you set the foundation for everything I'm doing today, and I'm still so grateful. This is a lot of information, Charlotte. Wow, takes a lot to process, I think, for everyone who's watching. Um, like I said in the beginning, I have 3 questions. So let's come back to my last question. And like you said before, something very important, that pressure is always, it's actually a good thing because it let us grow, it let us go beyond what we have or what we had in mind. So when the pressure hits, how do you make sure that you stay grounded, or let's say that how do you
Yeah.
take care of your well-being? So I think it might be quite helpful for everyone to know.
Yeah. So when the pressure hits, how do you stay grounded is a really, really important thing because the pressure will hit no matter how good you are, no matter how good you are at sales or marketing or whatever, no matter what level you are in your business. You know, for
Yeah,
30, 50K beyond, if you're making that a month, there will be different levels of pressure. And you
yeah,
have to know that what you did perhaps last month to get that might not be the same this month. So it's really kind of to stay grounded. There's several things that I do. The first is, what am I doing in my personal life? Right? How am I cultivating my relationships? Am I around the right friends? Obviously, family is big for me, is really important. Am I spending enough time with my kids and my husband? They're my support network. When I spend time with them and I'm not looking at LinkedIn or anything business related emails, that's filling my cup. You cannot fill from an empty cup.
true.
And I've had that challenged in on this journey. You cannot fill from an empty cup, right? So this is the most important thing. What are you doing in your off time? You're not working all hours of the day. You might think, oh, but there's somebody in another country that will be doing all this. Like, stop. You are not going to, by working all weekend or most of your weekend, you're not going to show up on Monday any better. You're probably going to be more clogged. So really consider having a day at the weekend with no screens. That's very hard for people. I've got a blocker now, an app blocker. Yeah. And
Sounds
consider
pretty
doing
good for
that.
me.
It's very good for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a really
Because
big supporter of that.
have human interactions, right? Especially if you built a business like we have on social media, it can be very, very draining,
Yeah,
right? There's moments where you'll feel like, oh, this feels more difficult lately, or this feels like a grind. It's going to happen. It's not normal. It's to have something that you really love and that you value. There's always going to be a little bit of the scenario of it's difficult, right? It's not worth it
yeah,
otherwise. It wouldn't
true.
be worth building a business on LinkedIn if it wasn't hard. So or anywhere, right? Even on Insta, on other platforms. Every single person, business operator, we're also kind of creators at the same time. You're going to go through that. So make sure that you spend time off and you surround yourself with the right people.
Yeah,
Really important. Are you seeing enough of your friends? Because if you don't do this, you get inside your head, right? You start to spiral. But oh, but this isn't working. Oh, but this and that. You must be around people. So people who are doing similar things to you, who you admire, get outside, have a coffee with them if you can, if they're in the same location, amazing.
yeah,
Have a Zoom with them, even if they're not, and make sure you spend time with people who have nothing to do with running a business, right? Your family, your friends, your network. Really important things to stay grounded. Um, I also would say set aside time, obviously looking at what worked well for the week. So what really worked well, what didn't go well, what do I need to do more of, what do I need to do less of? The big thing is auditing your time.
okay.
So what is draining me and what's giving me energy? These are
Hmm.
two really important questions to ask at the end of each week.
Little
What
reflection.
what gave me energy? Yeah, because this helps ground you. A lot of people don't set boundaries soon
Yeah,
enough and it will bite you. I promise you it will bite you
yeah,
eventually if you don't do this. Um, accept that not everyone is for you and you're not for everyone.
yeah,
No matter, you might have clients who you think, God, they're so good, they should be doing this or that or the other. Um, or you might don't develop a savior complex where you feel
hmm,
that you need to save everybody. You just can't. There'll be people you
yeah,
work with, you think, wow, they seem really you know, this seemed like it was going to work and it didn't, or, you know, it's like
Yeah.
really thinking, well, I did what I did and that's it. Like
Yeah.
you can't save everyone.
Yeah.
Save yourself first. Put your life jacket on first as well is another thing. Like that they say that, and it's so.
Yeah. True.
Um,
Lead
I
yourself
would
first.
say, yeah, make sure that you're eating healthily and doing a sport that you love or something. You're getting physical movement. What you eat, and I've been through this, and I've done challenges where I've had to really focus on, you know, strict kind of this is what you eat, this is what you exercise. World of difference to when I wasn't doing it,
Okay.
right? World of difference.
Yeah.
Don't be too extreme, but what you put inside your body also affects your mind,
Yeah.
right? So if you're having a lot
Absolutely.
of sugar, you probably that's gonna cause you a bit of brain fog. I don't know, especially for women like me who are like 45 plus, it's a completely different thing. Right now,
Yeah.
you've got to be really careful what you eat, because it's not, your body isn't the same. So I would say to anybody younger listening to this, really make sure that you're doing all these things, looking after your health, nutrition, surrounding yourself with the right people who are similar in business, and then who you admire, mentors, get coaches, and people who have nothing to do with that business but are just friends and family and supportive. Make sure that you're really deep, switching off. Make sure that you're educating yourself in the right way and that you're auditing what you're doing. So if you're in corporate or running a business, what gave you energy and what drained you. So these are really important things. You've got to try and, if you're running a business especially, and I guess this goes for people listening who are in corporate as well, try to see further ahead, like what potentially could be a threat, what's an opportunity, especially when you're running a business, because you never know what to outsource and when and what you should spend money on. And
No, no
part of
one has a crystal ball.
the
No.
exercise of being a successful business owner isn't just about making money and revenue, it's also about profits. It's about what you're spending the money on. Are you spending the money on things that are going to generate more business? That's a really good question to ask. So the minute you spend money, is investing in myself and coaching going to help me make more money? If the
Yeah.
answer is yes, then do it. If the answer is no, don't do it. Um, Again, is outsourcing this going to mean that I have more time to do other things?
Yeah.
I waited a long time to outsource, especially with the sales side, because that's what I teach. But really, I'm still, I've got to protect my energy and make sure that, because people are buying me and my energy, and if that's not there, I'm not going to be able to attract the right business. So it might be painful to outsource things that you feel that you could do. I
Mhm.
think a lot of it is, again, it's how you see money. So if you see that spend on coaching or outsourcing as, oh, I'm not the lack mindset, right? If you see that as a lack, it will become a lack and
Yeah.
you won't make it back.
Yeah. Yeah.
But okay, some people we've all been burned out by coaches. I was burnt out by a Twitter coach about 4 years ago. And I just had to get over it. I had to suck it up, but it made me do my due diligence better. So really think about these things. It's so important. Um, and make sure that you have fun while you
Yeah.
do it.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Having fun. I mean,
Because when you have
this,
fun and you're energetic again and you're really enjoying yourself, that will
who can
permeate through the business.
disagree with that?
No one can disagree
No,
with
but
it.
these are very, very good tips in order to stay grounded. I mean, just in order to summarize everything from what we have talked about today, it's really like we should take care of ourselves first
Yes,
before
100%.
everything else. And as soon as we have mastered this, I mean, there's nothing like perfection. So it never will be perfect, right?
It's
So,
never going
but
to be perfect,
no,
but
and
do it anyway.
it's a
Most
process.
people waste time. Their mind tells them, I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to wait. I'm not going to take the leap.
Yeah,
Everybody does it. Every
yeah,
successful business owner has a moment where the doubt comes in and they're like, should I do this or not? I'll just wait and I'll wait and
yeah,
I'll wait. And really, you could have been that could have happened 3 months ago or 6 months ago.
yeah.
It's
Sure.
literally just taking things and going, I've got to make this work.
Yeah,
Being really confident in yourself, because that's where it all starts. Lead yourself, be confident in yourself. Nothing will work if you're not confident in your new business idea or your pivot.
yeah,
If you're further along in the business, how will anybody else be?
yeah. True. No, absolutely true. It's the same with this podcast. Honestly, I had this idea for the podcast for quite some time, but yeah, I'm not sure when I reached out. I think a month ago or something like this to you.
Yes, a
So
couple
I
of months
mean, I
ago.
could have started it way earlier, but my priorities were somewhere else.
But you
So,
did it, and you've got the
but I
first
did
one.
it. Yes, and many, many more will come. I have a long list already, and I'm very, very happy that you were the absolutely first one, Charlotte. Really,
Thank you.
this means a lot to me. And yeah, perhaps we can repeat that. That would be great because honestly, I can listen to you for hours.
Oh, thank you.
You just drop knowledge, experience, value down here. This is amazing. And I think everyone who's listening, who's watching, who tuned in today will say the same. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to everything else what comes. And I think the two of us, yeah, we will find our ways anyway together again. We'll find each other.
Another time, something else to talk about now with AI and the advent of AI and how that's
Oh,
changing things
we
as
have so
well.
many more topics to talk about actually. So yeah,
Yes.
there's a lot of more stuff to come.
Hey, brilliant.
No, thank you very much, Charlotte. It was a pleasure having you here. And yeah, I wish you a very, very nice day. And because we are recording for everyone, we're recording before Christmas. So yeah, for everyone who will see that, Charlotte, I
Merry
wish you
Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Have
Thank you.
lovely days and with your family and your loved ones. And yeah, we see each other in the feed on LinkedIn or in the DMs, right?
Correct.
All right.
Perfect.
Thank you very much to everyone who tuned in today to the first episode of Lead Yourself First, the podcast. And tune in soon again. Another one will come. Have a good one, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.